Okay, so we are going to try something a little bit different today. I'm trying to get back into the habit of doing routine things. I had mentioned I was going to kind of go in depth about my current situation with my health, and that includes having to drastically change everything about my daily routine, my daily life, pretty much just existing. um, so why don't we just get started? And I will be stopping periodically to put on makeup, but I will be kind of going through my process of everything that has happened over the past year with my injury. Okay, for those of you that don't know, I forgot to put on timer, you guys. I have been injured for almost pretty much over a year. So what had initially happened was um I injured myself, but I didn't really think too much of it because I was in bed for like a week and then I got better and I went back to work. And so I went on vacation and it just so happened that I injured myself again. And I didn't understand where it was coming from. I didn't know what was happening. I thought honestly that it was connected to like my monthly cycle because I sometimes get like these really bad cramps, and I have been known to have a lot of pain associated with my back. So I kind of just thought, oh, well, it'll blow over and everything will be fine. But when it happened the second time, it was so painful that I couldn't even get out of bed. And it was to the point where I could barely make it to the bathroom. So the very first time that I noticed something was wrong, I was walking to the kitchen and I was on my way back, and all of a sudden my back just completely gave out. I fell to the floor and I couldn't get back up. So I literally had to crawl from the kitchen to my bedroom, and I don't even remember how it is that I made it into bed. But I stayed there pretty much for the whole week, aside from going to the bathroom and periodically trying to get up to get something to eat. And after a week, then it went away. I went back to work and everything was normal. Everything was fine. But as I mentioned, it happened again. Same exact thing, same exact scenario. It took me a whole entire week to get better, but then it happened a third time. And that time, I was not able to get up. I was not able to walk. I was not able to do anything for myself. And it was so hard for me to recover from that. And that was when I knew for sure that there was absolutely something wrong. So I had gone to the doctors, I notified them, and we were trying to figure out what was going on with that situation. And fast forward, it has now been over 9 months since my injury, and I'm finally able to sit down for a limited amount of time. I've never tried this before, like these squishy sponges. I don't know, but we're gonna try it right now. So I have my foundation on the back of my hand. I know that these have been out for like a really long time, but I just never got around to using them. To be honest, I am not much of like a daily makeup person, and I think it's just because it takes so long. And I'm naturally an introvert, so any energy that I have, I use it to do daily things. If y'all are an introvert or you know an introvert, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I like putting on makeup, you know what I mean? I think it's fun, I think it's great, but sometimes it can just be too much because it takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of energy. And that energy I would rather just save for something else or someone else, if you know what I mean. So if y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know. Leave me a comment because sometimes I feel like I'm all by myself. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this. But we can try it out anyway. Give me a shout out. Holler at your girl because I am an introvert. Some people, like, they, I don't know, they just have this idea that I am a complete extrovert, and I can be when I want to be. But for the most part, I'm not, if I'm honest. Like, I can be an extrovert at times, but I need my time away. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to work this into my skin, but I don't feel like it's cooperating with me. I very much prefer the Beauty Blender, uh, Sponge Beauty Blender, as opposed to this. I think it's just not working for me. Yeah, back to what I was saying. So after that situation happened, I went to the doctors because I was really desperate and trying to figure out what was going on. And the pain was so bad that I it literally would take me 30 minutes just to get off the bed and to get to the bathroom and then come back and lay back into bed. I was so afraid and it was so painful that I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. Okay, so I know that my face is like really super dark compared to my skin, my my arms and my shoulders and everything. And I think it's just because I haven't been out in the sun in a really long time. And I obviously need to get a different color of foundation, but we're just gonna make this work for right now. And it's winter time anyway, so I mean I think it looks okay. I still think it kinda looks dark. I don't think I'm gonna use this again though. So I think that was a flop for me. So before we continue, I have to put chapstick on or some moisturizer because sometimes it just gets out of control and it's too much. Doctor recommended that I get an MRI, which I had done, and there was something that they found in the imaging, but it wasn't something that was very clear. It wasn't something that they could definitively say, this is what is causing your pain. Also recommended me to see a specialist to make sure that the reading of the MRI was accurate, and she referred me to a specialist to see if surgery might be a possibility because there was some damage that had been seen on the MRI that happened to my spine. With that, there was a lot of pain when it came to standing, sitting, bending over, squatting, anything that had to do with any movement of my spine. It was so painful. And I tried everything that I could within the first couple of weeks and the first couple of months to rehabilitate my body, if you will. So I did the squats. I tried my best not to use my back. I tried to strengthen my core muscles. I tried to just walk as much as I could, as often as I could, but everything that I tried to do just seemed to bring me to a new level of pain and to keep me in the cycle of experiencing pain over and over again. So instead of getting better, I felt like I was going into relapse constantly. So that part was very frustrating. I could not figure out what it was. I didn't understand what was happening to me. And I think one of the most frustrating things was the fact that none of the doctors could really pinpoint what was happening. Nobody could give me an explanation and tell me that it was going to be okay. So a lot of it was mental, emotional, and even spiritual for me because I didn't understand why it was happening to me after I had made these big changes, which I can explain in another video. But I thought that I was well on my way to being happy, to being healthy, to being whole, and to just moving forward in my life, you know. And then all of a sudden this happens, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to deal with this, God. I don't know what it is that you're doing. I don't know what's happening to me and I need you to help. I wish that I could describe to you um, exactly how it felt, but this is not something that I would wish on anybody. Nobody, because it is just, oh goodness. So if you've experienced this type of injury before, or if you know somebody that has experienced this type of injury, my heart goes out to you. I will definitely be praying for you because it is not a joke. It is not a joke. It is not a small matter. I don't think that this is something that you can fake. This is something that you have to allow God to bring you through. And it's definitely something that you have to be patient with. I'm learning this as I'm going along, mind you, but oh goodness. It's been a long year for me, and it has been such a challenge to do anything and everything that it really gives you a new perspective, you know, but it definitely has its moments where you kind of say to yourself, God, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. Please know that you're not alone, that this is not something that everybody will understand, and just try to be as patient with yourself and be as patient with others as you can. I know that it's very difficult to be patient with other people when you're in a tremendous amount of pain, but um, I am able to sit here and to be on video with you, letting you know that it does get better, but you have to be patient. I can only tell you from my own personal experience that these are the things that I did, and this is how long it's taken me to get better, and this is what I went through, So at the very least, I can offer you some hope. I can offer you some recommendations of things that I used, that I purchased, things that worked for me to help me to heal and to prevent me from further injuring myself. I think I'm gonna try to add some um, concealer. I don't normally do concealer, to be honest, you guys, but I've been trying to do things a little bit differently. Not because I'm trying to be like a makeup guru, but just because um you gotta mix it up every now and then. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here. So we're just gonna try this out. I don't know what I'm doing, so bear with me, you guys. um, but yeah. So definitely, if you would like to see the products that I used and that I'm currently using, let me know, and I will link all that for you. But I can tell you from my own personal experience that everything that I have been using so far that I have purchased, um, for the most part, has been a tremendous help. Um, in addition to the physical things that I've been using, the actual things that I've been using in day to day life, there was a lot of recommendations for like vitamins and things. Um, I think that I would have to say the best thing that I did was use food as a natural remedy for the pain and for the nutrition that I needed in the healing process, to be honest. There was a lot of people that recommended like vitamins and different things that you can ingest, but through my own personal experience, because I wasn't able to do very much, which included moving around and digesting my food by exercising and just doing life. Um, I think it was very hard for my body to digest the vitamins, especially because they come in a solid form, as opposed to coming in a liquid form. It might be a different story if I would have purchased everything in a liquid form. Um, but I think that that's why I feel that the food, the vitamins and the minerals and the fruits and the vegetables and all that was a lot more beneficial through the food because you're able to digest it and you're able to just gain the nutrition that you need that way. So that's just my personal experience. If you are somebody that prefers to take vitamins, then maybe that might be a better solution for you. But I just found that I ended up spending a lot of money that I didn't need to spend because I could have just eaten all the vegetables, and the fruits to gain all the nutrients that I needed. So I think that about does it for the concealer. I don't usually do like too much up here or down here. And now I'm gonna move on to my blush. I have this palette from Sephora, but I usually mix like two different colors because I don't like it to be too much of one color. So I don't know about y'all, but for me, I normally only use like two brushes. I don't have like this huge brush collection. I used to, but I don't know, I got used to kind of using the same two brushes all the time. So this palette that I have right here, I usually like to stick to warmer colors. I like it. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out, but it's really pretty. It's from Morphe and it's called Champagne Glow. So I usually start with like a matte base and then I apply shimmer. So we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it turns out great, but we will see. So anyway, after all the appointments with the specialist and kind of just being in this place of despair and brokenness, I spent a lot of money and a lot of effort trying to rush my body into the healing process, if that makes sense. I tried so hard to just push past the pain, and I knew that I was doing too much. But that I did because out of all the research that I did, that was one of the things that was recommended. You shouldn't spend too much time in bed. You should be up and you should be moving around. You need to get blood flow to your spine. You need to get blood flow to the area of injury. And if you know anything about back injuries, the spine and the disc are one of the hardest areas to get blood flow to. So, being that I felt I had things to do and places that I definitely wanted to go. I think I was really trying too hard to just get myself out of bed and to get past this, you know? There were other people in my life that were meaning the best and I loved to pieces, but really didn't understand the level of pain that I was in. And it was really hard for me to explain and to help them to understand just the depth and the level of pain that I was in. And so, having to wrestle with myself and rushing my healing and taking my time in between those two, you know, just trying to figure out what was best for me and really trying to believe that resting was going to help me. It was a definite battle for me. Eventually, I had to give up. I had to give up trying to do things in my own strength, and it came to the point where I literally was not able to do anything, nothing at all. I could barely even get out of bed to go to the bathroom. I had a hard time getting in and out of the shower. Which, by the way, if you are going through a back injury or if you know someone that is dealing with that, it's a very, very good idea to make sure that they have access to the shower. That was one of the most difficult things for me because I did not have access to like a walk-in shower to where you don't have to lift your leg, you don't have to pull the curtain back, you don't have to step into the bathtub or step into the shower. I didn't have access to that type of accommodation, you know, or that type of facility, I guess. And so that was one of the things that was very, very difficult for me. And it made it even more challenging because not only is it hard to take a shower, but it's also hard for your body to relax because you almost don't want to take a shower because it's so painful to get to and from and to get in and out, to change your clothes, to put your clothes on, to dry yourself off, like all the little things. It's very, very hard to do that when you're in such tremendous pain. So if you have the ability to use a walk-in shower and avoid lifting your leg, avoid bending over, avoid doing all the movements that are causing you pain, I would highly recommend that. One of the things that I found worked best was to avoid all of the things that caused pain and all of the things that seemed to contribute to my injuries. So that included driving, that included sitting down, that included standing, that included walking for a time, that included squatting, like everything. I was not able to do anything, you guys. Like, I had to stay in bed. I had to have people bring my food. I had to have people help me to the bathroom, help me to get in the shower, help me to change my clothes, help me to do everything. I was not able to do anything. After being in this place of defeat and despair and really just not knowing what to do with myself, I tried to do my best to do as much research as I could to give myself hope. A lot of that included, of course, reading the Bible, praying, just spending my time focusing on the positive outcomes and finding videos where there were people that were encouraging, people that had come back from this sort of injury. Just keeping my mind busy with other things other than just focusing on, oh no, this is so painful. I don't know if I'm going to make it. All these negative thoughts. I must have spent about at least 5 months in bed, not being able to do much. And slowly but surely, I noticed that it would become easier for me to get out of bed, to go to the bathroom, to do certain things. Now, my mistake was thinking that since I was getting better, that I would be able to jump right into my normal routine and do things as I normally would. And because I did that, as I mentioned before, I fell into a relapse where it almost seemed like and felt like it was happening all over again. And that was not a very pleasant place to be, but I did learn a lot about what I should and should not eat. I learned about the type of movements that I could and could not do. I learned a lot about my limitations. I learned a lot about my pain threshold. It just helped me to grow overall. My goal here is to educate you and to encourage you and to tell you that your body does heal if you give it time, if you allow it time. There is hope for you, there is hope for you, and there is something that God is going to give you through all of this, that it is not going to be wasted, that God is with you in it all. and he's not going to leave you, even though you may find yourself in a tremendous amount of pain. Um, I, throughout this whole process, tried really hard to stay away from painkillers, but it was to the point where I needed to take ibuprofen at least twice a day, at least, just to be able to get through the night, to go to sleep, um, to be able to function. But I would recommend that you take something that's a little bit more natural. I found myself in a place now where I'm having issues with my stomach. And I think that part of it had to do with just taking so much ibuprofen in the first couple of months because it was so painful. I don't know if I like this, you guys. I think the glitter for the white one is just a little bit too thick for my taste. Of course, it doesn't help that I'm adding more on there, but I think I'm going to actually add a different color. For the most part, it's just been a very steady and slow process, to be honest. Like, I have had to learn a lot, and I've had to grow in my patience with the Lord, with myself, with other people, just overall. Granted, I mean, there have been other things that have happened as a result of this injury that I have not been very happy about, that I have been concerned about. So I'm mixing a little bit of the gold with the white because I think that the white is just too white for me. I like the idea of the brown and the gold better together. Yeah, so now I just find myself in a place where I'm able to do a little bit more, not a whole lot more, but just a little bit more. And it definitely helps to have a really good support system, um, which I know that it can be challenging to have and to find. But it definitely helps to have people that are praying for you, people that are encouraging you on a regular basis, people that are checking in on you, and people that will not give up on you. Um, whether that be through letters or phone calls or text messages or just coming by to visit. However it is that you can build a support system or find a support system, I really recommend that you do that because I really feel like it made all the difference, on those days where it was just really hard, really difficult, and I just could not see my way through the night. Okay, so this is looking a whole lot better. I like it a lot. I don't really like the light glitter. It has to be like a certain texture. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just me. Okay, so now I'm just gonna curl. Oh, it's about to take this off. So this is all just for the sake of trying to see what I can handle, what I can do. The great news is that I've been able to sit here this whole entire time, which has been more than 20 minutes, and that's amazing. Haven't been able to do that in a very, very long time. And I am just trying to gradually build my strength to do things as much as I can without re-injuring myself. So I can and probably will be doing more of these just so that way we can get to know each other a little better and we can hang out. So there we have it. I mean, I know there wasn't too many steps involved, but I'm just really happy and excited that I was able to sit through the whole thing and to just hang out with you guys. And if you want to see all the products that I was mentioning, the beauty products and the lifestyle products that I was talking about with the injury recovery and everything, please keep an eye out for the next video because I will be posting about that. I hope that everything that I shared in this video was informative to you, that it was helpful, and that you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I have hair in my mouth.